It started with 6 words, delivered without a flicker of guilt, no hesitation in her voice, no softness in her eyes. You're too boring. I need more. That was it. No fight, no affair discovered, no breakdown. Just a Thursday night in our condo kitchen, her sipping wine while I chopped onions for a curry she requested, like everything was normal. I didn't flinch, just set the knife down carefully and wiped my hands on the towel. You need more, I repeated. My voice didn't crack. That surprised me. She gave a little shrug, the kind people give when they return shoes that didn't fit. We've been coasting. You go to work, I go to Pilates, we meet in the kitchen like roommates. It's not exciting. You don't take risks. I stared at her. This was Lauren, my wife of 3 years, girlfriend of 6, the woman who once said she loved my steadiness, my clarity, my predictability. Now it was a problem. Now, she needed more. From who? I didn't ask. I just nodded once, walked over to the stove, turned off the burner, and walked out of the kitchen. She didn't follow. She thought it was over. It wasn't. What Lauren didn't know, what no one really knew, was that I'd spent the last year untangling myself from the very life she was now dismissing. I'd already moved half our joint savings into a separate account. I'd already put the condo up for quiet appraisal through a friend who owed me a favor. I was already backing out of our mutual plans, casually declining dinner parties, skipping her gallery showings, disconnecting without drama. Why? Because I'd seen the shift before she said a word. The forced laughs, the absent-minded scrolls through her phone when we were out, the way she dressed for someone else's eyes. Lauren was broadcasting disappointment long before she made it official. And if I'm being honest, I didn't care. Not like I should have. She was right. I had become boring. But not because I lacked ambition or fire. Because I'd been playing chess while she thought we were still rolling dice. She wanted excitement. I had just the thing. It started with an invitation. Her sister, Chloe, was in town. Free-spirited, impulsive, and everything Lauren used to be before she traded personality for Pilates. Chloe had always been trouble. In the best way. She flirted with me too much, drank too much, said what she was thinking before the words even landed. We'd never crossed a line, but there were moments. Charged silences. Lingering eye contact. 2 days after Lauren's little declaration, I texted Chloe. Said I had a ticket to Vegas. First class. No details. Just, you want in? She replied in under a minute. I'm packed. I told Lauren I was going to a cybersecurity conference. Last-minute thing. Big opportunity. She barely looked up from her phone. Whatever, she said. Might be good for you. Get out of your routine. Her tone had that smug hint. Like I was a pet she was hoping someone else would adopt. She didn't even ask which hotel. I booked us into the Bellagio, a suite overlooking the fountains. Chloe and I didn't rush into anything. We got drinks. Walked the strip. She wore this slinky red dress that made heads turn. And when I say everyone was looking, I mean everyone. Waiters, blackjack dealers, bouncers, including me. She waited until the elevator door closed before turning to me, voice low. Are we actually here for a conference? I shook my head. She smiled. Good. The first night, we didn't touch. I gave her the bedroom, took the couch. That was part of the plan. This wasn't about seduction, it was about precision. Lauren started texting around noon the next day. How's the boring conference? Then a laughing emoji. I didn't respond. Instead, I posted a photo to my private story, just a room service tray with 2 glasses of champagne. No faces. No tags. But Lauren was watching. She always watched. Even when she was pretending she didn't care. Chloe saw me take the photo. You trying to make someone jealous? I looked at her. You okay being seen? She sipped her champagne. I want her to see. Night 2, we hit the tables. I was up $3,000 by midnight. Chloe danced while I played. Slow, hypnotic, like she didn't care who was watching. But I did. And I made sure we were on camera. Not casino surveillance, her camera. Before the trip, I installed a remote access client on Lauren's iPad. She never updated passwords, never logged out. From the suite, I logged in, activated her FaceTime from a burner laptop, and tilted the screen just right. Then I told Chloe, let's give the camera a show. She didn't ask questions, just straddled my lap like it was the most natural thing in the world, whispered something filthy in my ear I'll never forget, and kissed me. Long, slow. On loop. The next morning, Lauren's message came through. What the hell are you doing? No greeting. No smiley face. I waited an hour before responding. Getting interesting. You said I should. No reply. But this wasn't revenge sex. Not really. That wasn't the point. Lauren wanted excitement. I wanted her to see what it looked like when someone else lit the match, and I stepped away from the fire. This was about control. About showing her how fast the boring man could change the narrative. And how easily he could be replaced. Not with just anyone. With the one person she'd never forgive. Her sister. And we were just getting started. She didn't reply after my last message. Not for 12 hours. When she finally did, it was short. Tell me that wasn't Chloe. I was mid-breakfast in the Bellagio suite, robe on, black coffee, Chloe asleep in the bedroom. I read the message, locked the screen, and kept eating. Let her wait. At exactly noon, I replied. You said I was boring. Thought I'd change that. That was the ignition. The next hour was an eruption of texts, missed calls, FaceTime requests, all ignored. I let her spiral. Each notification that came in, I watched with the same calm I'd once reserved for quarterly reports and tax audits. She wanted drama. Now she had a front row seat. And the show was far from over. Back in the suite, Chloe emerged from the bedroom wearing nothing but one of my dress shirts and a smug grin. She's losing it, isn't she? I nodded. I'd say we've got her attention. Chloe picked up my phone, held it up like a mirror. You're really not the boring one anymore. I never was, I said. She just stopped looking. She walked over, placed the phone on the table, then slid onto my lap without invitation. You sure you want to keep playing this game? I looked her in the eye. I'm not playing. That's when it shifted. Because now it wasn't just about Lauren watching. It was about Chloe realizing she had power, and me letting her use it. That night, Chloe went live. Just for a few seconds. Nothing explicit. Just her at the roulette table, a quick pan across the suite, laughter, music, and my hand resting on her hip. The story went up on her socials. Public. Lauren's circle followed Chloe. They saw it. Within 20 minutes, I got a text from Lauren's best friend. Are you serious? Then another from her cousin. Dude. With her sister? I didn't respond to them either. The contagion had begun. Lauren wasn't just watching anymore. She was being watched. The whispers had started. And that's when I pulled the trigger on phase 2. I'd built a digital archive over the last 6 months. Photos, videos, screenshots of messages Lauren had sent to her so-called friends, ripping into my routines, mocking my job, comparing me unfavorably to her friend's husband. All of it casual cruelty. Not enough to be nuclear, but enough to be useful. I picked a dozen of the most condescending ones, stripped the metadata, sent them from a dummy email to her gallery's press manager, CC'd to 2 local blogs who covered lifestyle stories and social drama. The subject line? The mask slips. Who's the real Lauren T? No name on the sender. No trace to me. The stories didn't go live immediately, but I knew they'd circulate internally. And with the Vegas posts fueling gossip, it wouldn't take long for the fuse to reach the powder. By Monday morning, her agent pulled her from the downtown showcase. By Tuesday, her father called me. You humiliated her. Publicly. I let the silence breathe before answering. No, she did that to herself. I just held up a mirror. You're sick, he said. I smiled. Your daughter called me boring. Maybe you should have listened closer. He hung up. I didn't expect otherwise. Chloe extended her stay. Unofficially, she moved into the suite. We didn't talk much about Lauren anymore. She knew what she'd signed up for. But on the 4th night, as she curled into me after room service and wine, she asked, Do you think she'll ever forgive me? I didn't answer. Because that wasn't the point. This wasn't about forgiveness. It was about exposure. Consequences. Lauren wanted to detach without fallout, trade me in quietly, and keep her reputation intact. Instead, she became the punchline. And the more she tried to spin the story, the worse it got. Her friends stopped defending her. Her art show was canceled. Sponsors pulled funding. A few even reached out to me, curious about what I might do next. Turns out, the boring guy had influence. By Friday, she finally cracked. One last message. You win. I get it. You made your point. Just tell me what you want. I read it twice. No emotion. Just logic. She thought this was a game of winning and losing. She still didn't understand. This wasn't about payback. It was about redefining the narrative. She stripped me of dignity in silence. I returned the favor publicly. She reduced me to a footnote in her story. I made her the headline in mine. And we weren't finished yet. Because Chloe had an idea. Something she wanted to do next. And I was all ears. Chloe's idea wasn't subtle. It wasn't soft. It was tactical. We go to the gala, she said. I raised an eyebrow. Your family's art gala? The one Lauren's been prepping for all year? Chloe nodded, swirling her wine with a smile that had teeth. It's her last public platform. She's still clinging to it. Let's kick the ladder out. At first, I didn't answer. Not because I disagreed, but because I hadn't realized how far Chloe was willing to go. This was her sister. But then again, blood didn't mean much in their family. Loyalty never existed in that house. It was a competition, always had been. Lauren just happened to win early. Chloe was ready to end the game. We returned home 2 days before the gala. Lauren's texts had stopped. She'd gone quiet online, deleted half her posts. Rumors swirled about a breakdown, a canceled exhibition, and a vague apology she issued through her PR girl. Didn't matter. The damage was done. She wouldn't be ready for what was next. The night of the gala, we entered through the back. Chloe wore black. Clean, elegant, sharp. I followed a step behind, dressed in the same boring gray suit Lauren once mocked me for. Only now it was tailored, expensive, and paired with a quiet confidence she never knew how to measure. Whispers started immediately. People nudged each other. Phones came out. One woman gasped. Another simply said, "No way." Lauren was already on stage, mic in hand, giving her opening remarks. She saw us mid-sentence. She froze, just for a second, then continued like nothing happened. But I saw her eyes scanning the crowd, her voice faltering between lines. She tried to maintain the mask, but everyone was watching it slip. When the speeches ended, the mingling began. We made our way through the room like shadows, deliberate, calm, present. I shook hands. Chloe smiled. We never said a word about Lauren. She approached eventually. Had to. She couldn't ignore the spectacle. She pulled Chloe aside first. I saw them near the gallery's side hallway, arguing quietly. Chloe stayed composed. Lauren's gestures were sharper, her face red. Then she turned to me. "You've made your point," she hissed. "I haven't said a word tonight," I said. "That's the difference between us. I don't have to." You paraded her here. Like a trophy. I looked past her to the crowd. She's not a trophy. She's just not you. Lauren flinched. Not visibly, but I knew her tells. That one landed. She leaned in, desperate now. "You ruined me. I lost everything. You planned this." I kept my voice flat. "You underestimated me. I planned for me. You did the rest yourself." She stared at me, searching for emotion. Regret. Anger. Anything. But there was nothing. That was the final blow. We left before dessert. Chloe slipped her hand in mine on the way out, the cameras flashing as we passed. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about evolution. I'd spent years being the stable one, the reliable one, the placeholder in Lauren's curated life. Now, I was something else. Not louder, not wilder, just unapologetically in control. Months passed. The fallout became background noise. Lauren moved to the coast, opened a smaller studio, rebranded herself. Chloe and I didn't last forever. We weren't meant to. Eventually, she left too. No bitterness, just understanding. She said, "You're not boring. You're dangerous." I said, "No, I'm just finally awake." I live quieter now. No social posts. No grand moves. But people remember. They whisper about the Vegas trip, the gala appearance, the sister switch. And sometimes they ask, "Why'd you do it? Was it love? Revenge?" I never answer. Because it wasn't either. It was proof. Proof that when you push a quiet man too far, he doesn't explode. He rebuilds. In silence. And when he moves, he doesn't come to take back what you stole. He comes to show you what you never saw coming.